reporting from lockdown. I'm here with my flatmate Rosianna, who I'm sure you guys know, to do a library haul. And Rosianna's a very special guest because she kind of invented the library haul.
Oh, stop.
So I used to watch her videos back in 2006, probably.
That's when I started.
Yeah, and you would have like a huge pile of books and talk about them as you got them out from the library.
I didn't call it a library haul because we didn't know what a haul was.
Yeah, exactly.
In my day, I remember very specifically people commenting on videos being like, will you do a haul? And I'm like, what is that?
What we're going to do basically is share the books that we got out from the library, which coincidentally we now get to keep until the libraries reopen again.
Yeah, initially they said June 2nd, but now I think it will be later than that. Also because I haven't started any of these yet.
Yeah.
Well, I've read one of them.
Yeah, because you kind of know you can keep them for a long time and they're not doing any late fees. So it's a library. I've picked up the first one, which is a giant brick. Yeah, and also I picked up my first book thinking, oh man, I'm just going to dip into that before I have to return it. But who knows? Maybe I'll finish the whole thing.
That's my first question for you. Mm-hmm. When you took these books out, did you know that the library was going to close?
No. I took mine out like a few weeks before.
I very specifically went on the last day the library was open and took out enough books to max out my card. So many that I wasn't allowed to include all of them in this video.
Yes, she said she had 12 and I was like, no. That's
so I have made a curated selection.
So I'm going to let you start because you're more than I do. Do you have them grouped by theme?
I have them grouped by theme. Okay, I'll start with the first and most obvious theme.
Yes.
In a disaster, I like to read books related to a disaster. I know some of you won't understand it. That's okay. But accordingly,
I was like, reference the video made about epidemic reading. Like, if you want to check that out, if you want more recommendations. I did a whole video about it.
Technically, I filmed a video about pandemics, but I've never edited it, and I feel like now I need to re-record it because my brain is so different from those first initial. Anyway, so I got out Station 11 by Emily St. John Mandel.
A classic, a beloved favourite.
Yeah, which is one I really, really love about a pandemic that hits. Well, we meet it in Toronto, but it becomes this global thing that takes over. What a great description. But it flashes forward in time, so you also see the impact of it. And that's really interesting to me because I'm always interested in world building after the end of the world.
And I feel like it's a book that's both hopeless and hopeful.
Yes.
It's like awful, but very hopeful at the same time.
Very community-centred. It just made me think, because you just, as the day that we're filming this, are uploading a video with Patrick Ness, and he and I once discussed something, and he said a question that's always on his mind is what happens after the end of the world, and that for me is also a big preoccupation, especially right now. The other one I got that was on pandemic theme was Catherine Ann Porter's short story collection, Pale Horse, Pale Rider.
Never heard of it before.
Yeah, so the short story Pale Horse, Pale Rider is about someone recovering from the Spanish flu, which was obviously the last not the last pandemic because H1N1, but a last huge scale pandemic, and it's one of, I've been told it's one of the best pandemic short stories. I haven't read it yet. The only one of the ones I'm talking about that I've read so far is Station 11. That was a reread.
Yeah, like a third, fourth, or just the second one?
Oh, fifth, sixth.
Okay, yeah. Long-term favourite. Highly recommended.
Long-term favourite, yeah. But that I don't own because I don't like the UK cover.
Oh yeah, I have the US one, which
I might put on my birthday list.
It's so nice. It has a very good textured outside. Yeah, I get a lot of graphic novels from the library, especially because they're quite expensive, and this is a really nice way to sample. Sometimes I read a few pages and I'm like, no, it's not for me. I don't know much about this. I very often, because graphic novels are such a visual medium, obviously, I often just go by the cover and just flick through a little bit. This is about a small child. Her journey over the wall changes her life forever when she meets the porcelain maker.
Ooh.
It looked to me like it had crime, maybe some super villains, a small orphan girl.
It does look like one you'd enjoy.
Yeah, I think so, because I usually go through and see if it's not just fighting scenes, and this seemed to have beautiful kind of fairy tale-esque storytelling. So yeah, very intrigued. I don't know if this is the first.
I feel like this might be the first. Because it says a gothic fairy tale.
Yeah, I think so.
It feels like
that. So Porcelain, a gothic fairy tale. That's my first one.
Are you going to do one?
I'll do my other graphic. Actually, I'll do one more.
I love that sound of them sticking together.
Dutch libraries don't have the covers on them. I don't love it. Having the covers on
it just reminds me of a library. That's what I love about it. It makes me feel excited because it's a library book.
I had a library book recently where someone had folded every single page about halfway, like with the corner.
That happened when I told you this. It was a Haruki Murakami book, and someone had literally drawn over the pages and written things and I told the librarian when I gave it back, and I was like, this wasn't me.
I did not do
but I think this book needs to be replaced.
I unfolded the whole book as I went, and I was like, well, there you go. Okay, so this is Speak, the graphic novel. Have you read Speak?
I love Speak, yeah.
I read it, I think, because there was the Kristen Stewart film, and then we also maybe talked about it in like the YA course I did in the US. So I read it in the US when I was studying at Elmhurst College, and I had the very first time I had like an English language library with a YA section.
Oh wow.
And I just went wild, and I read so many things. So Speak was one of them, and I really loved it. And this is the graphic novel. I always thought there was already a graphic novel, but I guess not. One of the reasons I picked it up, because it wasn't necessarily one I was like super keen to reread, but it the artwork was done by Emily Carroll, who did Through the Woods, which is one of my favorite graphic novel bundles, like horror Nordic folktale mix, which I freaking love, and I love her drawing style. So when I saw her name on the cover, it was pretty much a no-brainer for me. This is about a young girl in, is it middle school in the US? I guess she's really young, right?
I can't remember if it's middle school or high school.
Anyways, she has had something happen in her life, and it's about her like coming to terms with that and dealing with things at school. So I'm really curious how they visualize that in this.
I remember I got so excited when I heard about Laurie Halse Anderson, because it was the first person, other than people in my family, who I saw shared my name, Halse.
Yeah.
And then I remember when I met her, I think it was when Winter Girls first came out, which is like a very good book, but like harrowing.
Yeah.
Huge trigger warning for that one.
Yeah.
I remember I told her that she was like the first person I'd met, and then she signed her book. Signed my book was something like Sisters of the Heart or something.
That's
It was so
nice.
sweet.
Did you meet her in the UK?
No, in the US when I was doing my year abroad as well. I'm going to go for my non-fiction pile next.
Ooh, lovely.
Which I'll just give you a brief flash of. The first one I've picked is The Gene, An Intimate History, which I've been meaning to read for years, which is all about genes and genetics. That was my favourite part of biology at school, which I dropped biology after GCSE level, but I loved the film Gattaca.
What's that?
Oh my gosh, you haven't seen Gattaca? Oh, you'd really like Gattaca. So it's a sci-fi film where like genes determine like whether people have the baby or not, and your like genes determine everything about kind of success you have in life. There's a character who is given very low status, but tricks the system by impersonating someone who doesn't want to live anymore.
It does sound familiar.
It's such a good film.
It's
like Jude Law, Uma Thurman. Oh my gosh, the main character is what's his face? You'll know. Anyway, it's great.
I'll put like a trailer in the description.
And
or
then
something.
so I dropped. I love genes. I dropped biology at GCSE level, but then I did the SATs because I was applying to American unis as well.
Oh, so you had to study again.
I had to reteach myself biology because they didn't have all the subjects I was doing at A level. So, and then I got really into the gene stuff, and I still love genes.
Yeah,
so,
I did like full biology like all throughout high school, and loved it so much more than like chemistry and physics. Yeah.
I didn't want to have to do the like animal testing stuff. Not animal testing,
we didn't
like experiments.
We didn't do that.
The second one, I love spies.
You're really on a spy kick. Like it's spies all the time now.
I have always loved spies. At this precise moment in time, I'm really leaning into it because it's very distant from the current problems of the world in lots of ways, but it also has these similar parallels. But it also, and I'm going to make a video about this at some point, but it also has a lot of parallels with, for me, like themes of Catholic guilt. Betrayal, duty, like serving your country, all of that stuff. It's so interesting to me. And I love history of spies and spying. And
because that's the thing, like you kind of imagine spies as being something fictional, but it's very not.
Real.
Yeah.
I'm watching The Americans right now. After John's told me to watch it for about 5 years.
We watched Mission Impossible. I'm watching Killing Eve.
I recently rewatched Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy. I rewatched GoldenEye all the time. I love Killing Eve as well. Anyway, so this is the Enigma, Alan Turing, the Enigma, which is, I think, the book. Oh yeah, it literally is the book that inspired The Imitation Game. If you've seen that film, Alan Turing is a big hero of mine as well because of computer programming history and just that sense of someone who wasn't really recognised until recently as a hero because of the fact that he was gay and he was written out of history and he was treated as a sort of like side character, I don't know, not given the prominence that he should have been given. So that's really interesting to me, and the ideas of what makes a hero in the context of war.
So is the book just his life story?
This isn't fiction, this is non-fiction about his life and like where he started and how he came to create the Enigma machine.
Can I see some pictures? There's pictures inside.
Oh yeah, I didn't even notice that. But I don't want to become a spy, but I like reading about them.
Yes.
And then my final non-fiction book is Romantic Outlaws: The Extraordinary Lives of Mary Wollstonecraft and Mary Shelley.
1 second.
By Al. Yeah, Lex also has this book. I don't like to borrow Sanne's books though because I get really scared that I'm gonna.
There's a bunch that I absolutely don't care, and then there's a few where I'm like, this is untouched and pristine.
Well,
so
because we've discussed this on your channel before, but like I have a very liberal attitude towards spine breaking, and Sanne doesn't.
and like one of my most viewed videos is about how to not break the spine of a book as you're reading it.
But I'm excited to read this. I love Mary Shelley and I love Mary Wollstonecraft, and I did philosophy at school and kind of learnt a lot about them both actually through that, because my philosophy teacher was also an English teacher, and we studied John Stuart Mill's On Liberty, which is anyway all inside politics, and on the vindication of the rights of women. So I'm excited to read more of it and just like I don't know. Dive in.
I also love how they've made this book look really approachable and really like modern, and like you're going to learn about their lives. They're going to be super dry.
Yeah. Especially for a chunky monkey.
I know. And my favorite room in the National Portrait Gallery is the one that both of these portraits are in.
Oh,
I love it. Yeah, they have the little room where it's like they're all together, and I love that one.
Oh, I love that. Yeah, I didn't even think about that.
And we at school were definitely taught about like their circle, and then like about like interpreting, you know, which character was supposed to be which real person. And I think I never really was that interested when I was learning about it then. So but I love their books. I want to go back and kind of put that all together again.
The context for it as well. And I really admire them in lots of ways, so I'm just excited to read more, and I really want to know more history about women where possible. So yeah, that's that one.
So some light reading.
Checked this out weeks ago for a bit of light reading.
Emily Dickinson's poetry. Emily Dickinson is someone that I don't know that much about, but that I always feel like I would love the poetry. I didn't do any American lit throughout my degree because I focused on British literature, and then maybe I had like one course, or maybe it was in the US, there was like a few, anyway, like I've read very little American classics. Like I think if someone studied English lit, very often you'd expect them to have like a broad range of both, but we had to pick, and I ended up British. And so I got this out of the library, and while I was waiting for this to come in, I also ordered the Penguin Mini Classics one, which is like £1, because I thought I was gonna buy this one, and I was like, I don't know how much of it I'll read. It's really big.
Especially
I have to move soon. You know, how am I going to do this?
Do they know that you're moving?
I don't know if I have announced it yet. I am moving soon. Sorry to break it. I'm moving here with my boyfriend, and I'm leaving Rosianna behind. It's very upsetting.
I'm staying here though because I love this flat.
Yeah, it's a really good flat.
I'm taking over your room actually.
Yes, so you'll get to see like double. We're both doing a room tour.
Yeah, we should.
Yeah, we should. I mean, I have to do it before I leave. So, anyways, all my book buying now in the back of my mind, I'm like, every single thing I buy, I will need to carry to the other flat.
Yeah,
including something like this. So I got it from the library instead. I don't think I even realised how massive it was until I got here. But yeah, so I think maybe I'll do this one as a taster first, and then dip in and out of this one.
You don't want to do an evening where we read poetry aloud to each other?
I mean, I would love to, actually.
Very Sense and Sensibility.
The only way I can still do a British accent is if I read out poetry. So I can treat you to that.
Yes, please.
Because that's like the context that I used it in all the time.
This one I have been meaning to read. And I have in fact started reading many times, but because of life and being busy have not managed to. But it's My Brilliant Friend by Elena Ferrante, which everyone's told me, Rosianna, you're going to love these books. And I know. Yeah, people think I'm really going to love them. And I feel like I will.
Oh.
And actually, luckily, included in the number of books that Sanne didn't let me bring into this video are the following two. There's 4 overall, I believe.
So you have,
so I have 1, 2 and 3. And then, hopefully, I love them and I can just order or wait until the library opens again. And then get 4.
This is fully in the category of books that I will probably never ever read,
really?
Because I have already convinced myself that I will not like it, just based on description. But I'm obsessed with how obsessed everyone else is with it.
Yeah.
And sometimes you read the description and you're like, Oh, okay, I mean, sure.
That's what really like actually gets me, is that
Yeah.
like people love it, and I'm excited to like completely fall into the world of this. So yes, I will be reading them. I think in May overall I'm going to try and like really focus on reading my library books, and just like, you know, chilling, reading.
Nice. We realised it's a bank holiday soon. I didn't even know it was coming up. Because of freelancing, unless someone tells me that there's a bank holiday, I don't know. So we're gonna do some extra reading then. This is one that I'm reading at the moment. I brought it up in the Unheard Voices video, and I've read a bit more since then, but it's a library book, so I'd bring it up. This is one that I got from the library, first of all, because they had it really quickly and I needed it for the video, but also because initially I wasn't sure if this was one for me. And I think as soon as I read a few pages, I was like, oh yeah, yes it is. This is actually solidly within what I like. And I think sometimes when books have slightly more commercial covers, I'm a little bit wary of them, and I shouldn't be, because I think especially with historical fiction, a lot of it, I'm happy to walk that line from like commercial to literary and everything in between. But this is a retelling, like side by side story to Pride and Prejudice, but from the servant's point of view at Longbourn. Really interesting, definitely more... dark isn't the right word, maybe like gritty than I thought it was going to be, just because their lives were really hard, and it's, you know, the daily grind was cleaning, looking after things, getting a few hours of sleep, getting back up and doing the same thing. So yeah, that's been really, really interesting, and actually made me realize that I've read lots of books like this, and that I really like this genre, I guess, like sort of seeing the lives of everyday people in this time. So yeah, love this. I'm gonna finish it and we'll talk about it more. And then this would be one that I would be tempted to maybe pick up later and have and keep for a long time.
For a good reread.
Yes.
My penultimate book for the day is Sarah Waters' The Night Watch. I've never read any Sarah Waters books.
Same.
But I'm told I ought to.
Have you seen any adaptations?
I haven't.
What?
But I want to read the books first. I like reading the books. So yeah, I'm excited about this one, also because it's like very much based in London, and I thought a book that is based in London that reminds me that once upon a time we could walk around London is a good one. I'll just have a quick read of the blurb here. Set against the turbulent backdrop of wartime Britain, The Night Watch is the extraordinary story of four Londoners. Kay, who wanders the streets in mannish clothes, restless and searching; Helen, who harbours a troubling secret; Viv, glamour girl, recklessly loyal to her soldier lover; and Duncan, an apparent innocent, struggling with demons of his own. Moving back through the 1940s, through air raids, blacked out streets, illicit liaisons, and sexual adventure, to end with its beginning in 1941, this is an astonishing novel.
I feel like that's something you'd love.
Yeah, and also this, when we're filming it Friday, the bank holiday, is the 75th anniversary of VE Day, Victory in Europe. So I'm very much thinking about like wartime stories and how we tell them, how we talk about them.
I really stay away from any Second World War books. Like I it's again one of those categories where I go, no, I don't know if it's because we talked about it so much in school.
Yeah.
Or if it's just something that, I don't know, it's just never really appealed to me. I'm sure there will be ones out there that
I stay away, I did for a while, and a bit less so now, stayed away from First World War books for the same reason, because we talked about it so much at school, and it was a huge part of my studies. And I mean, you'll probably remember my early videos about like war poetry and stuff as I was revising.
Okay, my last one is another graphic novel. This is one that whenever I go to like comic book shops or bookshops, I always go to the graphic novel department, and I find it really hard to browse because a lot of graphic novels are really thin, and I'm just so used to seeing all the spines very easily that graphic novels are a bit harder to browse. But now that I've gotten more familiar with all the names, it's been a bit easier. And then I saw, first of all, this name pop up all the time, Tilly Walden. It helps that this is a very thick one. And then also the name of the publisher, Avery Hill Publishing. I think I saw 4 or 5 graphic novels in a row where I thought, I don't know this publisher, but these have all popped out at me. I read another one by her called I Love This Part, which is tiny, so cute, about like 2 girls who were dating or friends, thinking about dating. I can't remember. It was very short, and it was just, the drawings were gorgeous. This I thought would be similar, because there's the 2 girls here. This is set in space, and I didn't realize, and I think
we love space.
We love space. This is actually based on a webcomic. It looks beautiful, and I really like the pacing of the dialogue. Like, there's not too much dialogue on each page. It seems very thoughtful, and I love this genre of graphic novels. I think again, there's so much that is kind of like violence and murder and whatever, and I'm happy to read that as well. But then sometimes I just want to read like a teen story, potentially about adventure, potentially about love or friendship. So yeah, very excited
Definitely
to
about
read
space.
that.
My final book is The Luminaries by Eleanor Catton, which is my friend Anna's favourite book. Anna James, who wrote Pages and Co. I don't know loads about it, and I actually don't want to know loads about it because I want to go in and be absorbed by it. You might have noticed that all of my books are pretty chunky, and that's with intention. I was like, how can I maximise the value of these 12
went for
books?
pages.
Oh, I did.
This is good.
I kind of, I had the foresight that I was like, I don't think this is going to open up again as soon as people think, so I'm going to get as many pages as I can. Well, I'm planning to do what the young kids call an unhaul when I've read them all.
And you bring them back to the library.
Oh, wait, I have to take them back.
So an unhaul is when you get rid of books. It's the opposite of a haul.
I thought it was just going to be like, I talk about the books.
I mean, you film whatever you want to film.
I'm just going to talk about the books that I've read that I got out from the library, and I'm not going to use any terms I don't understand.
You can find that at youtube.com/Rosianna.
Where you can find all sorts of great content.
Oh, I've also been braiding Rosianna's hair a lot. I've been filming videos for Instagram /Take Your Time. It's been a fun activity we've been doing during lockdown, so if you're interested in that, that's over there. We're trying to, keep things going with activities and delicious food and books and stuff like that. Occasional spy movies.
Not that occasional for me, but yeah, sometimes Sanne joins me.
Thank you so much for watching. I hope you're doing okay. And I'll see you soon. Doei!